Hello, and welcome to Future Leaders in Philadelphia. I'm your host, Derrick Sawyer. We bring you this show in order to highlight young people in our community, along with local organizations who are striving to make Philadelphia a better place. We want to focus on our next generation of leaders. On today's episode, our guests are from the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia. This organization has been serving youth for over 130 years. At that time, they have led the way nationally. The Nicetown Club opened in 1892 as the first club in the country to serve girls. 4 years later, in 1896, the Wissahickon Club opened as the first club that served and welcomed African American youth. Today, the Boys and Girls Club serve youth in 18 of Philadelphia's most economically disadvantaged communities, providing programs that enhance lives and advance futures. Their mission is to enable all young people, especially those who need it most, to reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. The group offers youth in the neighborhoods they serve one of the few stable and supportive environments available. They understand that it is their responsibility to provide young people with the tools and resources to succeed. In 2015, the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia launched the Bold Change for Kids campaign in partnership with David L. Cohen of Comcast. This campaign is aimed to raise $40 million over the next 5 years to improve the conditions and clubs and communities. It will transform old, dilapidated facilities into state-of-the-art Boys and Girls Clubs that offer unique, innovative programming and give all our youth the opportunity to achieve a great future. Here to tell us more about the great work of the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia is the group's Executive Program Officer, Libby Lescalet. Welcome to the show, Libby.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did you graduate again?
I went to LaSalle.
LaSalle?
Yes.
What a great school.
Absolutely.
And here you are today from the Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the Boys and Girls Club.
So the Boys and Girls Clubs in Philadelphia has been here for over 130 years. And if you look at the history of the National Boys and Girls Club movement, the Boys and Girls Clubs of Philadelphia were some of the pioneering clubs and organizations, staff and kids in the entire country. Of the original 10 charter clubs that were existed in the Boys and Girls Club movement in the beginning, at least 3 of them were in the Boys and Girls Clubs of Philadelphia, depending on which part of the urban legend you listen to.
Got you. So what made Philadelphia such a stronghold?
You know, I think that there's so many different things. If you look at the distinctive neighborhoods and everybody that cares so much about their kids and their communities, there were so many different people that were looking at what kids needed, even back in the late 1800s at the end of the Civil War, and they knew that the kids needed something. Right. I mean, Mr. Coleman, who was the first African-American club director, was at the Wissahickon Boys Club, and that was because he knew at that time that the kids that were there that were in all different kinds of circumstances needed a place where they could learn trades and they could learn skills, and their parents were working in some of the manors and mansions in that part of the city, and they needed a place to be. So it was after school, it was on the weekends, and it was even on Sundays, because that's when their parents weren't available to them.
Right, they were working, right?
Absolutely.
So what is the mission of the Boys Club today?
It's very much the same as it was then, is that we want to make sure that kids have the ability to be productive and caring and responsible citizens. And instead of teaching them maybe woodshop, which would have been the custom back in the day, or typing, we're teaching 21st century skills from public speaking to research to collaborative work and lots of computer and STEM programming, so that our kids have the edge that the clubs were able to provide 130 years ago. We're still providing that edge for our kids today.
So who would you say they service the most?
All kids.
All kids.
I mean, all of our clubs are distinctively different, and they're in distinctively different neighborhoods.
Gotcha.
Some of our clubs see more middle school and high school students, which could be anywhere between 50 and 100 of age group of middle school and high school kids a day. We have sites in public housing, so we're talking about kids that are living in some pretty rough neighborhoods in some cases. And then we have sites that are all up through the Northeast, so we have all different kinds of kids from very, very different backgrounds that are all benefiting from being members of the Boys and Girls Club.
That's great. So it's not really just a cookie cutter approach.
Absolutely not.
It's based on the need of the neighborhood.
The need of the neighborhood, the need of the kids, the need of the parents, and really where do parents and kids need us the most, and we really try to dig deep into what those needs are in the communities.
Great. What type of programs do they offer?
Literally everything. I mean, we offer everything from homework help when the kids get out of school. Most of our sites serve some kind of meal or snack so that kids are able to focus when they get out of school. We offer tons of recreational programs because everybody's concerned about childhood obesity. So there's lots of ways for kids to blow off steam, from organized basketball programs to informal recreation games to yoga for some of our kids, because we want to make sure that you're relaxed and you're stretched and you're ready to go. We offer an award-running literacy program that's won National Boys and Girls Club awards to make sure that kids who are struggling in reading are able to be more successful in school. All different age groups of STEM programming, robotics programs, state-of-the-art technology centers, and then still some of the staples from back in the day, that there's strategic games, there's pool games, and there's caring adults and mentors that are always at the club to make sure that you are checked in on and we're caring about what's going on and that we're supporting the kids in their lives.
Great. How does one learn about the program? So the average citizen probably wouldn't know that there's a boys club that can help. How would someone learn about your program?
There's a bunch of different ways. I think in some of the neighborhoods, we're such an iconic statue in those neighborhoods that probably a lot of people do know about us.
In that neighborhood, right?
And those neighborhoods, and even far beyond those neighborhoods, because some of those sites have been there for a really, really long time. We have a website like everybody else does, and we do
what's
all
your website?
www.bgcphila.org.
Great.
And then we have, Instagram and Twitter and Facebook accounts, and the same thing that everybody else uses at this point. And when you look at the middle school and high school programs, it's a lot of word of mouth. And we serve tons and tons of high schools all over the city with our sites that have middle school and high school programs, because the teens love and care when they're there, and they know that we care about them, so it's really easy for them to bring their friends.
Right. So they pass the word on because they're having such a great time.
Absolutely. And the same thing with our summer camp programs. We made the announcement that one of the sites was doing their summer camp, and the phone calls haven't stopped, and people are banging down the door every morning when we get there. So
when does the summer camp program start?
They range from dates, but usually in the middle of June to beginning of July, depending on the location.
And is it hard to join?
Nope, you just need to stop at the club that's local to you, get the information packet, and the staff can answer any questions for you about the programs that are available at that location.
What are the requirements to join the Boys and Girls Club?
You be a kid.
That's it?
That's it. We don't want there to ever be geographic boundaries. And if financial issues are a concern, we can definitely have conversations with that. And some of our programs are only a $5 membership fee.
Nice.
So we want to make sure that the financial burden is never a reason why a child could not be a member of the club.
I heard about a campaign that you're having, Bold Change for Kids campaign.
Absolutely.
What's that campaign about?
It encompasses a lot of different things. A lot of our buildings are very, very old and definitely need some work with the infrastructure that exists in them. One of the fun examples that we've just completed a lot of work at our Northeast Frankfurt Club. And I mean, it had a lot of windows that needed to be repaired, and as we started work, we actually discovered that most of the ceilings were tin ceilings in the building. So we've been able to work to bring some of those things back. So that's kind of the one exciting thing, where you see what's hidden underneath. In other cases, it's making sure that we have state-of-the-art technology centers for the kids. When we got here, we first bought new vans for all the sites because we needed to ensure that there was safe transportation. And it's just making sure that we're providing the best programming that we can for all of the kids, from the staffing to the facilities to the technologies and to the transportation.
And you graduated from LaSalle.
I did.
How did you wind up going from LaSalle to the Boys and Girls Club?
When I was thinking about that earlier today, it seems like it's almost a natural connection, because with LaSalle's mission being to be in the community and for service learning and to be giving back at everything that you do, that's part of being a member of the Boys and Girls Club, and part of being a staff at the Boys and Girls Club is that it's oftentimes the direct service that I did when I was at LaSalle. And the mentors that I had here really inspired us to do those kinds of things. So it's very natural. I am now on the receiving end oftentimes of the service when groups come into us, as well as providing direct service to the kids that we work with on a daily basis.
What was your major?
Education and English, with a concentration in political science and religion.
So
I read a lot.
So you're doing everything.
I am, especially when you look at some of the crazy education and religion classes at that time, had a huge service learning component to it. So throw a little poetry in it and I was all good.
There you go. So tell us about funding. How's your organization funding?
We do a lot of fundraising internally. We have a lot of grant writing that we do. We get a little bit of money through Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Coming up soon is our Showcase of Wine and Cheese, which is our signature fundraiser, which is where we raise a lot of our money that we use to support our programs here.
So anyone can donate? Anyone
can always donate. There's information on our website. You can also come to the event. If you want to support us, come to a silent auction. At the end of the month is at the end of May, I guess it's not quite May yet. At the end of May is our Showcase of Wine and Cheese at the Convention Center, and all the information is on our website for folks who want to attend, buy a couple of baskets, buy a few raffle tickets, taste a little bit of wine and cheese, and have a great time supporting the kids in our community.
And where's this fundraiser at?
At the Convention Center.
Convention Center, what day again?
May 19th.
May 19th, Convention Center. Make sure you join and help out.
Absolutely.
So if you wanted to tell, you have a large audience out there listening, and if you could ask them to do one or two things to help you and your organization, what would that be?
I guess it would be twofold, because I think everybody has different things that they can give based on their time and their talent. Obviously, if people are able to donate financially, those things go straight to the Bold Change, which directly supports all the kids in our communities. If you're not able to donate financially, donating of your time is also just as important, and we can always use the talents of all different kinds of individuals to support our youth.
Those that want to donate their time, what are the requirements?
Pennsylvania does require that adult volunteers all do the PA criminal background check, the child abuse check, and the FBI fingerprint. And then they would do an interview with the staff with an orientation to make sure that the site's a good fit for them.
And is there a length of time they have to volunteer, so they can do an hour, 2 hours, a week, a month?
They could definitely do all those things. I usually see with ongoing volunteers that go through all the background checks that it's something that they want to commit to for more than an hour or two, just because it is such a lengthy process in Pennsylvania.
Great. Now, our program is titled Future Leaders in Philadelphia. So we like to highlight the young leaders,
Absolutely.
up and coming leaders. How does your program help instill leadership values in the young children that come to your program?
Absolutely. So we do a lot of progressive programming, and later in the segment you'll actually get to meet a couple of our youth that have been a product of some of that progressive programming. And what they highlight is our Youth of the Year program. And what that does is it creates 21st century skills within our teen and middle school population, and they start out by being Youth of the Months. So our staff and our volunteers pick the young people who have been integral as volunteers and sometimes just the silent leader within our club. And they're honored on a monthly basis, and their pictures are up, and we give out awards when we have a giant celebration for them. And then what we started this year is the next step in that process, which is our Junior Youth of the Year program, which is for our middle school age kids. And they did a whole presentation in front of a group of judges. They had to do kind of a portfolio about themselves with pictures and awards and all kinds of really fun things like that. And then one was selected to kind of be our Junior Youth of the Year. And the next step up from that is, you know, what we call like the older Youth of the Year, the regular Youth of the Year, Senior Youth of the Year, whatever you want to call it, because it's always stood alone by itself. And now it has all these other programs that lead into it. So our Youth of the Year program means that our high school students from all of the sites in the city compete at that point, and they were interviewed through the whole course of a day by 10 different judges that were all different business and community leaders, where they talked about their club involvement, and they also actually did an entire book about themselves, where they had to do 3 essays and get letters of recommendation and their grades and all of those different kind of things. And then they also gave a speech to everybody about what the Boys and Girls Club meant to them. And then those teens actually get to go represent us at different types of events. If they're fundraisers, if they're things like this, community events, and all different kinds of things where they actually get to talk about the Boys and Girls Club and why it's important to them.
That's great. Can you share with us one of your favorite success stories?
Oh, at this
I know
point,
you probably have a ton of
yeah,
them.
no, there really is. There's so many of them. I think back oftentimes when I think about some of the greatest successes was probably one of my first Youth of the Year candidates, back in forever ago, we'll just call it that. And he was really nervous about competing, and we didn't really know much about his background, and this was when I was on the West Coast. And everybody was a little bit afraid of him because he was a big kid. And eventually we convinced him that he wanted to be part of our Keystone Leadership Club, and I really, really wanted him to run for Youth of the Year. And eventually he, you know, gave in, because all he ever wanted to do was play basketball with his friends. And so he brought to me this great book of poetry, threw it at me at the front desk and said, "Here." And then he walked off. And here was pages and pages and pages of poetry from this kid that everybody thought was a basketball star. And he was a really good basketball player, but he was an even better poet. And so we convinced him to do the Youth of the Year program, and he won. And then he did really, really well at state. And you know, as you fast forward through that, we helped him get a college scholarship. We helped him when his family and his siblings, who we all knew from the club, had some pretty great challenges. He graduated from college. He went on to work on his master's degree, and the last time I spoke to him, he was working on his PhD. And beyond just the educational successes he was having, he was working with first-generation college students like himself, who had struggled academically and had challenges with his family, but he wanted to make sure that they had those successes. His younger sister was also one of our Youth of the Years, and is now doing the same thing in different ways. She's a professional mentor. And the next sibling, who for the life of him would never run for Youth of the Year, and he thought I was crazy when I suggested it, but was also a great young person, is also doing wonderful things in his community. And when you look at a family that so many people were so worried about, that you see the amazing successes they have, and he's a grown-up now. He's like a 30-some-year-old person doing all these wonderful things. And I know that these two young people that you're going to meet later are going to do the same thing as in their lives, and hopefully I still get to hear about them.
So you actually have your fingerprints on shaping the future.
Absolutely. And all of the staff and all of our mentors do every day, whether we know that we've done it or not.
Right.
But every once in a while it springs back up and you're like, oh, she works at a college or university doing this now, or he's studying for his PhD, or he did this, or look at how beautiful their children are. And all of those things are the reason that you do it every single day.
Great. So we're about to wrap up this segment. You talked about a lot of different programs. What is your favorite event or program?
Youth of the Year.
Youth
Always.
of the Year.
Always.
Really?
Because the entire event is always about the kids and the teens. And as the event grows and more young people are highlighted, the more excited their parents get, their
Right.
grandparents get. When everybody comes and everybody's sobbing
That's
because
true.
all of a sudden Liz, who we never thought should have even been a member at the Boys and Girls Club, is being honored, and everybody that was in her foster network there and her entire family is there. Everybody's sobbing to take pictures because they're
Right.
so excited that she was honored. Doesn't get any better than that.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on the program.
Anytime. Our pleasure.
Thanks for sharing your information. We think it's a great program, and we look forward to great things.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. When we come back, we're going to talk with 2 club members. Please stay with us.
Hooked to the double feature and you're on my mind. Return of the creature that crawled up from the subway line. You're always keeping me waiting, keeping me waiting for you.
This is Kevin, and Kevin could use some kindness. Here's Ian. He could be that man. Ian chooses to be inconsiderate and not hold the door for Kevin, and in turn, Kevin suffers. Kindness may be a choice, but doing so is always the right one. So if Ian can make the right choice, you can too.
Hello, I'm Derrick Sawyer, and this is Future Leaders in Philadelphia. Today, we're talking to the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia. This group has served Philadelphia's youth for over 130 years by providing a safe place for young people to learn and grow. In the first half of our program, we learned about our group's mission and the types of programs that are available. Now we're going to talk to someone who has been honored and exemplified the club's core values. The Youth of the Year title goes to a club member who meets some pretty tough requirements in academics, community involvement, and leadership. Here to tell us more about the Boys and Girls Clubs and what it's like to be part of the groups are youth members Naomi Roberts and David Waskevich. Welcome to this show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So how old are you?
I'm 11 years old.
11? What grade?
Fifth?
5th grade? You know what college you're going to?
No.
Not yet?
I want to go to Villanova.
Villanova? Oh man, I was going to say LaSalle. Oh well.
That's
you
if
still
I
have,
get
you still have
accepted.
time, right? Still have time. Dave, what about you? How old are you?
I'm 17
17?
and I'm a junior at Roman Catholic.
Nice. That's a pretty good school.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you're going to college, right?
Yes.
And you're going to LaSalle, right?
Wherever.
Wherever?
Yeah.
Well, since it's wherever, LaSalle is a pretty good wherever school.
hmm
But tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the program.
Okay.
Ladies first, right?
Yep.
My mom was looking for a program, well, an after-school program for me to go to and a place for me to thrive at the same time. I started the Boys and Girls Club at the age of 6,
6, nice. And how old are you now?
11.
Nice, so nice. You've been there for a long time. So do you enjoy it?
Yes, a lot.
Not great. And how did you get involved?
Well, I'm going on to my 13th year as being a member at the Boys and Girls Clubs. And I don't really know how I got involved, just all I remember is one day my mom brought me to this strange building and turned
And
out...
left you there, right?
Yep, left me there, but I'm glad she did because now it's like a second home to me.
Great. So what programs have you been involved in?
I've been in numerous programs going from Torch Club to Keystone to the Baking Clubs. Any program, like one of the main things I like about the Boys and Girls Club is there's a program for anyone and you can find your place anywhere.
Got you. And your favorite program is?
The Keystone Club.
Keystone Club?
hmm
So why is that your favorite?
The Keystone Club is a teen-based club, and we help our community out as much as we can. So it's all high school students, and we all work together thinking of different fundraisers and community service events we can do to help bring up Philadelphia in our own community.
So you think you might get into public service when you get out of college?
Yes, I'm
Probably.
definitely, that's something I do want to get into.
So what would you do?
I don't know. It's weird to think about it, like what I could do. But like I know, like the Boys and Girls Club, they showed me, like so far what I can do, what I already accomplished. So now coming from the club, I can go farther and do whatever comes my way.
What do you plan on majoring in college?
I want to major in early education.
Okay, that's tremendous.
hmm
What programs have you been involved in?
I've been involved in Smart Girls, Boat Changes for Kids, Scrabble, a junior staff in the game room, the dance team, fashion club, stuff like that.
So almost all of the programs.
Yes,
Which one is your favorite?
the dance team.
Dance team? So you're a good dancer?
Yes.
So if we play some music, you can show us some steps?
No.
Nah, not this time?
Gosh.
All right. So what are some of the life lessons you've learned from being part of this program?
I learned how to be a leader and how to be a person that encourages others.
Great. So how do you go about encouraging others?
I just tell them to be themselves, be a leader. If you see something that is right, stand up for it. If you see something wrong, don't encourage it. It's like, just tell them the right thing to do.
Right. So you like being a leader?
Yes.
Great, because that's what this show is about, future leaders, so that's a good thing. And what's some of the lessons you've learned?
First off, I became a leader and I became more of a public speaker with the Boys and Girls Club. But mostly what the Boys and Girls Club done to me was they made me feel like comfortable with who I am, and like my self-confidence was raised because of the Boys and Girls Clubs.
So if you had to sell a friend of yours and say, look, this is the best club to be in, what would you say to them?
Just whenever I say like I'm from the Boys and Girls Clubs, I get weird looks like, oh,
Really?
like the Boys and Girls Club, like what is that? Like no one really knows of it.
Right.
Just I always say to my friends, just come one day and experience it. Because once you experience it, you'll never want to leave because it's a second home to me and it's a family.
Great. Naomi, here's your chance to sell your pitch to get someone to join the Boys and Girls Club. What are you going to tell them?
That is fun. You learn at the same time, and then you will love all the people there, and you would think it's a home to you. Like you would get so comfortable, like you said, you wouldn't want to leave.
Right.
It's just somewhere you just make a lot of friends. Everybody feels like family. Everybody talks like family.
And so how often do you go? How many times per week do you participate?
Every day.
Every day? You too?
Every day.
Every single day?
Yes.
That means they must have a lot of activities.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were going to look down the road, and what would you change about the program, if anything?
It's nothing because
Everything's great.
yeah, basically. Only thing I would change is like, I don't know. I love the program the way it is. It's nothing really I would change.
So tell me about one of you say the dance, Scrabble, chess. So tell me a little bit about each of those programs that you're involved in. So what's your day like when you go there?
So first, I do my homework. We have power hour.
You get homework. You get to do your homework too.
Mhm.
Nice. So when you go home, your homework's already done.
Mhm. Just play outside.
Nice.
Second, we do Smart Girls.
Right.
We talk about girl stuff that girls go through.
Okay.
Then I would go like help out in the game room, play games in there, and then the rest of the day, I would either like talk to Miss Tish, my mentor, about stuff that's going on, and the rest of the day I'll just chill with my friends.
So when you help out in the game room, what are some of the things you have to do to help out?
Well, we have a certain room we're supposed to work in, and people get in line and ask for games like, may I have mint collar?
Right.
And then we will go to the closet and get it, and then we will like make you sign your name, say that you have this game, and you have to bring it back to us. We have ping pong, we have pool, have air hockey, we have foosball,
Nice.
and I forgot the name of the game, but
So you
It's like
said
a
your
video
favorite
game.
game was Scrabble, right?
yes.
So why is Scrabble your favorite?
I'm not good at spelling, but that's why I like Scrabble so much,
'Cause it helps you
because
out.
it helped me
Great.
spell and it helps me with my academics.
Great. So tell us about what a day is like for you when you go to the Boys and Girls Club.
What a day's like is I go there after school and I help the kids out with the homework. And even if they don't have homework that day, it's just I'm there to help the staff there. And I'm there. I don't know. Like it's cool to be like a little mentor to the kids
Yeah.
because I know they look up to me, and it's just fun because like I want to go into early education. So being able to go to the Boys and Girls Club and participate and be like a fake teacher for a little bit, it's truly cool.
So you're getting a head start.
Mm-hmm.
So your favorite program is?
The Keystone Club.
Keystone, that's right, Keystone Club. Well, I want to thank both you, David and Naomi, for
Thank
coming
you.
to the show. It's time for us to wrap up. And I look forward to you doing great things and being future leaders in the city of Philadelphia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all the time we have today. I'd like to thank all my guests from the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia for being here and sharing their stories. If you would like to find out more about this group, you can visit their website at bgcphiladelphia.org. I'm Derrick Sawyer, and thank you for watching Future Leaders in Philadelphia, where we believe investing in our youth is investing in our future.